Hey, so I've got one of the speed sticks here, and please, this isn't going to be as much about golf as it might think. Obviously, I think speed sticks or these types of uses, heavy balls, things of that nature, they're all very, very, very good. Highly scientific, force equals mass times acceleration. They obviously work because of that. Maybe the only jab I'll throw, as I typically do at the golf world, is if having increased mass of this increased force, what if you had increased mass of yourself and maybe increase some mass over there with some of that stuff, then you'd also have some increased force. There's nothing wrong with training to get stronger as long as we come back and do something like this. But anyway, why I grabbed the speed stick here, someone asked, can you use the speed stick to do some of the explosive cyclic repeat protocols that we talk about in EPP? And the answer is yes, however, not the same way. So I don't know it has to be a speed stick, okay? And the reason is you're not going to be able to have time to set up every single time that you swing in a normal, effective protocol for using heavier clubs. Now, what we're going to do with the speed stick is simply use it without any sequence because we're looking for cardiovascular, peripheral cardiovascular adaptations in rotation. You might want to do that anyway. They might have nothing to do with golf, but I think there's huge utility for training explosive cardio. It's almost like an oxymoron, but if we're looking for mitochondria biogenesis, obviously, the working areas and the pattern are probably going to uptake more mitochondria than other areas. If I only do something with my legs, my upper body probably won't get there. Why is that useful for golf? Well, it would be highly useful for practicing golf, and that's a big piece that I talk about a lot. I think clearly there's not a lot of cardiovascular demand in playing a round of golf, but how you practice golf and how you then train, it doesn't have carryover under a different circumstance. You might hit 50 bombs in 5 minutes at the range. You might not hit 50 bombs in an entire round of 18 holes. So think about how long it would take to hit 50 over 18, and then what is the work to rest ratios. So if you can start to train that way, then here's how you would do it. A couple different ways, but to set up, I'm lefty, so I'm holding the club, and I'm not going to swing as hard as I can so I don't get gassed, I don't mess with the mic. But what you can't do is set up, as I said, you're actually going to keep swinging lefty and then swing righty without changing your hands. If we use an even amount of intervals, you then, as a lefty, I'll use a right-handed grip and then swing both ways. So that it would kind of look like this. If I start lefty, I probably would not exceed 10 seconds, maybe over. We have talked about 15 seconds using a rotary movement for a highly trained rotary athlete. I wouldn't put most golfers in the highly trained category, but maybe you go up to 15 seconds. You must be swinging as hard as you do in your first swing as you do in the end. So here we're swinging, but now I'm not going to change. So that's far more of a pause. It would look like this. And of course, I'm not swinging nearly as hard as I can, but I'm not swinging like nothing. You can hear the whoosh. Now, we would go righty, and now I would take, if that took me 10 seconds, I would rest for 50 seconds, and then go righty here, which obviously feels very strange to me. But now, we're not working on the skill that you would typically be working on when you use this. If that's something that you value in your golf training, that you think your cardio is going to affect your skill, maybe time to reconsider. But when we ask the question, can you use speed sticks for explosive cyclic repeat, the time it would take to swing once and then reset and then do it again, you would blow up the value of the protocol. You'd be creating some different type of adaptation. Even though the swing is explosive, it's not cyclic anymore.